I'm Jen Burson. I'm the founder of Generation PR. We are serving beauty and cosmetics companies and baby and kids brands. We also support lifestyle brands. This topic for today, ethical newsjacking. And also we are going to talk about how to stay on top of industry trends as a PR professional. You know, we understand that the main goal for all of us as PR pros is to earn clients a spot in the news through press features and media coverage. Traditional PR is earned media. There's paid, there's owned, there's, your owned channels are your blog, your social. So we tailor our pitches, we build media relationships. There's so many tactics that we can use to achieve that goal, but there's one strategy that we all need to understand. It is a really solid strategy. Newsjacking is an approach where you leverage trending stories already in the news and you work in a timely manner to get your clients inserted into the conversation. Okay, that's newsjacking. It's already a topic that people are talking about, and you want to get your clients, their expertise, their products, their services aligned with those conversations that are already happening. But all too often we see that it is done in maybe a gross, unethical, or like an inappropriate way. We obviously don't ever want to teach any tactics that are unethical or shady or put your clients in a bad light. We have seen some really cringy pitches that journalists are sharing. They're not trying to put anyone on blast, but they're kind of like, this isn't how you do it. So we're going to talk about why you need to know what newsjacking is so you can do it the right way, how you can be ethical and stay on top of industry trends as a PR pro so that you can time it the right way and pounce when the opportunities arise. Okay, so newsjacking, it's a PR term. It's basically when you take a trending news story and you create a pitch around that story, but it is still centered on your client, their products, their expertise. Do not think of it as a PR stunt where your client acknowledges the news, but rather it's a pitching tactic where you hijack a news story and you tie your client into that news item. So hijack and newsjacking sounds a little bit like maybe a negative term, but it's an opportunity for you to piggyback off of what's already happening in the media and online. And in the process, you're injecting your client into what's trending in the news, and you craft a pitch with a twist that'll help grab attention where it's already falling. So people are already talking about this. Their attention is already looking for experts to weigh in or studies around a certain topic that's in the news or products to solve a need that's in the news. So they're already looking for things to cover in this arena. So it could get their attention, but it can also be a risky strategy if you don't do it ethically, because you can come across as inauthentic. It can harm relationships with journalists or audience relationships because it might seem opportunistic. Especially, we'll talk about this, we just never want to newsjack on a tragedy unless it's really from a place of giving value and caring and helping people cope with a difficult situation, right? But if it's done right, it can help you garner positive news coverage for your clients very quickly and give them a voice of authority on a topic that they want to be aligned with. We're going to talk about how to make it a good thing. You're adding value to the stories they're covering. If you're adding value to the readership, and you're positioning something as being helpful, informative, and authoritative, problem solving, that's great. That's what we're going to get to. So can newsjacking be an ethical practice? Yes, that's the short answer. Absolutely. The long answer is yes, but only if you do it in a way that makes sense for your clients' audiences, if you provide genuine value and it's not just some kind of clickbaity headline to get attention and be controversial given what people are talking about in the news. So Newsjacking also tends to be a really strategic. The key is to add value. With all of our pitches, we want to be adding value, but especially in this topic so that it doesn't come off as opportunistic or like shady or like a bottom feeder strategy. Certain themes or topics that we know are already going to be in the news, like any industry specific events, anything that's holiday related, like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We know media on the consumer product side is talking about the sales and all the deals, especially now when it comes to converting for affiliate dollars. That's sort of like a light newsjacking kind of thing. It could be entertainment or celebrity related events like award season. Obviously big news, like big stories, tap into that trending topic, So more newsjacking best practices. When a newsjacking based opportunity presents itself, you want to make sure you completely understand the news before adding to the conversation. You want to really understand what's happening to be sure that you're not capitalizing on a tragedy. So, understanding the entire picture before you add to the conversation. Do a quick keyword search related to the news to make sure you include the most search phrases in your content. Like I've said, SEO is more and more relevant. SEO and PR can align. It should not be a goal. It's not a KPI for us, but there is value in understanding what your ideal customers might be searching for and finding gaps in search and solutions that you might be able to pitch to the news. You also want to do a quick keyword search to see what to include that are the most searched phrases in your content so that journalists can see those search terms in your pitch and they can include them in your subsequent article. And then you have to be really fast. Part of newsjacking is just capitalizing in the moment. So write quickly and be accurate. So you also, just for the sake of speed, you don't want to sacrifice accuracy and grammar. So you have to be fast, but you also have to be still, maintaining your elevated writing standards. Don't just write a response to the news, but be unique and have an original angle. And if you have a client with a product, tie your news to a product, a service, or information and include a call to action, right? So that is a way that they can take that next step to make that happen for them to supplement the stories they're writing about. And then remember, newsjacking needs to fit seamlessly into your marketing strategy, and it means that you have to have a goal. It has to have alignment and match the vision and the voice for your overall outreach to media, and it should provide value to your audience. Again, tying it back to value, it may sound like a negative term, newsjacking, but if you're adding value, then that is going to align with your comms strategy of getting the right stories and getting your client aligned with the right outlets and positioned as an expert, or having their products positioned as a problem solver for a certain need. Okay, so I have 5 quickie strategies to stay on top of trends as a PR pro. The first, use the Google News tab. You can use this tool to search any time of day, which is great for sparking creativity whenever you need to. We all know about Google Alerts. Set it up on topics, your client's own company, fine, but also their competitors. Anything, using tools like Google Alerts will help you stay on top of the industry. Certain search terms that your client can talk about. So creating a talk topics Google document. It's a living document. They can add to it, you can add to it. But right when you start with them, you start asking them just even like their background, or like just interesting things about them that are part of their talk topics. When you have an ongoing document like that, you can set up certain Google alerts to see when news is talking about that. and stay on top of what's happening in your industry and their industry. Another thing we like to do is talk about utilizing HARO, Help a Reporter Out, and other similar services to see what reporters are writing about. And not just the basic stuff that we all know, but really leveraging the resource for other ideas, like other pitch ideas that maybe you pitch for that story and you don't get it, but you can now pitch it out as another idea to other outlets. You kind of know what clients or journalists are asking about and want to know about, what I want to write about. So there's a lot of ideas about how to leverage HARO and other resources like that quoted, and Prowly and other resources to figure out what journalists are talking about and how to insert your clients into the conversation, even if you're not getting those wins. Another idea here is search for a broad topic first and then narrow down to review the trends. So examples of broad topics are NFTs, clean beauty, golf apparel, just broad. And then look at what trends are being written about and determine how your clients can weigh in on those trends or be tied to those angles, as a priority. Like they can weigh in on it in some way, with more expertise or explaining differences between, or what does clean beauty mean, or what are some ways that companies are kind of declaring clean beauty but they're not actually, and what to really look for. Offer your clients as a resource for any related stories that journalists might be working on around those topics, and see if those topics are broad and people are talking about NFTs, maybe there's a follow-up story with the same journalist or the same publication with a little more in-depth about a certain area they hit on, or a different approach, a different angle. We certainly are not ever going to find a story and ask a journalist to change it and add our clients. And if they've already talked about it, don't pitch the same idea. Don't assume because they wrote about it once, they'll write about it again, but offer a fresh perspective, offer a clarification or a counterpoint in a very value add way, not in a argumentative way. Okay. And they might be working on a follow-up. It might be their beat that this is what they cover. So keep an eye on it. And also be sure to focus on what's trending at your clients' target outlets, or what they have on their editorial calendar in terms of the long lead timing and the short lead timing. So they're really, really helpful on staying on top of what is trending and to keep on your radar for newsjacking. And then it's also important to understand the major national and world events that can have an impact on the news cycle, regardless of the industry you're pitching. So that could also inform you to hold off on your pitches, or to be sure you are not pitching something that is sensitive or I should say insensitive to what is happening in the moment. And also with regard to social media, if there is a national tragedy unfolding, you need to help your clients stay on top of that, to stop their tweets and their published posts. They should not be auto posting if they can stop it during a national tragedy. And when it comes to some sort of tragic event, I mean, we have seen some really tasteless pitches that have capitalized on some just negative news that they try to do it in a funny and tongue-in-cheek kind of way, and they miss the mark. It's very, very hard to do that. Maybe you have an incredible relationship with a journalist and they get your sense of humor and they get that you're trying to be lighthearted, but just be very careful, because you might think that you're making a lighthearted joke to get attention, or you're kind of capitalizing on something that might seem like you're putting a negative situation in a positive light, but that could come across as insensitive, as unprofessional, could get your client and you kind of blacklisted. journalists don't want to work with tone-deaf PR representatives. So just keep that in mind. If it feels ick to you in any way, probably is. And if you're not sure, you should probably tweak it or not send it. Okay? There are ways to successfully do this and jump on a trend. People are now talking about TikTok trends and food hacks and things like that, beauty hacks. That's great subject for newsjacking. TikTok is the foundation, like originating a lot of different timely newsworthy trends that you can jump right on and get your clients part of the conversation. You know, check TikTok. A lot of trends start over there. But that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great week. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.